Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here. My name is Joe Buzzanga. I work for Elsevier. Anyone in the room know who Elsevier is? Yes. So Elsevier is a publisher. In fact, we're one of the largest publishers in the world, the largest for science and technology. We're part of the Reed Elsevier publishing group. And it's interesting, as a publisher, that we're at this innovation event. But within the group that I work in at Elsevier, we're very focused on serving corporate customers. And several years ago, I had the opportunity to work on a project where we were trying to develop a product to serve the needs of innovation professionals. And so I was in on the ground floor of that project, where we worked with companies such as Caterpillar, Procter & Gamble, to find out what their needs were, find out what their pain points were when they did innovation. And so after listening to the customers, we were able to develop a product that I'm going to talk about today. It's called ilumin8. I might add, this is my first time to this wonderful country, Brazil, and I hope it's not my last. So we can think about innovation as a journey, and we want it to be a successful journey. There can be detours, there can be dead ends, but the idea is to get to the end goal, which is to roll out innovative products and services to the marketplace. And really, innovation is essential, even in these times of recession, times of economic challenge. Now, I've got here some citation from the Boston Consulting Group. They do a study of corporations worldwide every year on innovation and innovation practice. And in their latest one this year, they found that despite the economic crisis, innovation still ranked as one of the key strategic priorities in the majority of companies that they interviewed. And the reason is pretty simple, that innovation drives growth. And in fact, in this study, they show that companies that lead in innovation outperform their industry peers in terms of total shareholder returns. So you can quantify the benefit of innovation if you so choose. But innovation requires the right information, especially when you're at that, what some people call the fuzzy front end. You've got a lot of ideas, you're not quite sure which way to go. And there are challenges to doing innovation, as I think everyone in this room recognizes. Some of the biggest challenges, and this again comes from the Boston Consulting Group study, relate to corporate culture. And many people reported risk-averse corporate culture as being one of the main impediments to having successful return on investment for innovation projects. So what we want to do with ilumin8 partially is to help reduce the risk. We can't really change the culture, but maybe we can make projects a little less risky. Another one of the big problems is lengthy development cycles. So that's another thing we think we can help with a tool like ilumin8 and other tools we're working with at Elsevier. So if you can compress the development cycle, you can get products to market faster, time to money accelerates. So this is our version of sort of the funnel, and I think Dr. Chesborough had a much more elegant version of this yesterday, which was really interesting. I think quite a brilliant representation of one where the holes were in. So at that sort of front end of the innovation process, there's lots of ideas, there's lots of potential directions, there's lots of technologies and partners to consider. And it makes it a challenge to sort of make the right bet. So we need to help companies accelerate through that first stage and get through the product and the business gates that many companies have to prove in ideas. We've all heard about information overload, and it's not being reduced at all. It's growing more and more. And I really love this slide from IDC because they take a very broad view of what information is. It's not just scientific information. It's not just trade journal information. It's not just the internet. It's information in the broadest sense. When you think about it, any digital device with microprocessors and flash storage can generate, process, and store information. And all that information ultimately can be reaped for business advantage. I think we're just at the early stages of this, but it's going to be something that's going to be really a trend to watch over time. this information, when you think about it, it's unstructured. So as a publisher, and we publish databases, we think about structured information. These are databases that are well put together, they have metadata, and you can really work with them with digital search engines pretty well. But all this information is unstructured. So trying to get the meaning out of this information is a real challenge. And as IBC says, it's the rocket science of the digital age. Searching can be very difficult when you think about all the information that's out there, all of the different databases that are out there, but we think it's really essential for open innovation. So there's multiple literature databases. The searchability becomes a problem because you have to master different search interfaces and in some cases different types of syntax to enter searches and so on. And then of course drawing the insight is really the key part here that everyone's interested in. When you're searching for information, what you really want to do is get to the right information, make some conclusions, and then move on. So now I'm going to give you guys a mystery equation here. Anybody in the room recognize what that equation is? It relates to information and access to information. Anyone